I was thinking about what you are about to embark on and what we have been doing here. I am the Chief Innovation Officer. As I was thinking about what you are about to embark on and what we have been doing here. I am the Chief Innovation Officer. As I was thinking about what you are about to embark on and what we have been doing here. I am the Chief Innovation Officer. As I was thinking so I have to always try to think about what it is. I am the Chief Innovation Officer. As I was thinking, and so
I have not been a child for a very, very long time, so I can only imagine what this feels like.
As I was thinking, because if you think about it for a second,
I have not been a child for a very, very long time, so I can only
our
imagine
students were
what this feels
preparing
like.
for spring break. Because if you think about it, even if
I have
they
not been
were
a
going to
child
stay
for a
home,
very,
at
very
least they were
long
going to have a little
time.
break. Our students were preparing, and in our situation, our spring break was going to, even if they were going to stay Friday the 13th, March have a little break. Our students were preparing, in our situation, our spring break was going to, even if they were going to,
What did our kids feel like?
one day the teacher's telling us that they're going to go away for spring break, and then even if they were
What did our kids feel
there was
like?
just nothing. There was no return, telling us no date, there was no goodbye, there was no video, no closure. For some of our students, no graduation, telling us no date, all of the different organizations that we usually have, these different rites of passage, even though they were education, all of the different organizations that we use for those that were not going to go to college, but were able to somehow, some way, it just ended. So how do we help them have closure like that so that we can start somehow, some way, and some of these things that the students felt over this time were there so that we can somehow, and some of these students that the students felt the likelihood of them experiencing unemployment, homelessness, and for our population is very low, likely that they lost a loved one, homelessness. So how are we going to address these things? As I look at different data sets to help us think of a plan to go forward, I have to think about what we do know as I look at different data sets, the summer slide. How we think about the summer slide in and of itself. We don't even include spring break in that. We know we know that the summer slide has research backing it that says that a regular student, a student that has had consistency in learning and continuity of instruction, even that student in the summer would lose about 20% of their knowledge base in reading and 27% in math. Now we have to be realistic about the COVID slide. So we know that the COVID slide is incrementally more for children in poverty, and then add another layer if the child is a child of color and if they didn't speak the language. Add that to years and years of students who have not had the continuity of learning. So many of the things that our children are going through right now, people have been experiencing and our families have been experiencing. And so when we think about all of that, plus we think about just the social unrest in our country, both racially and politically, and for you in local context, add the fires, it's a lot. It's a lot. And as we move into this space, one thing that we do know has to happen is we have to stabilize the chaos. Our students, our children, our families, they're watching us. Not only are they watching us, they're expecting us to do something because they trust us. It's imperative that we stabilize the environment, even if that environment is only within ourselves, in our individual being. And the reason that this is so critical as we move forward is that because I want you to imagine, maybe it's your kid, maybe it's one of the students that you work with, this little third grader that's sitting in a third grade classroom, or should be sitting in a third grade classroom. And I say should be because even if our school districts offer virtual, or if they offer face-to-face, synchronous or asynchronous, what we do know is that some of our children have become invisible and we have not re-engaged them. And our students and our migrant families are more susceptible to that. But that child in the third grade right now, regardless of the platform that they're in, they've got one shot. They've got this year, their third grade year. They don't get a do-over. So it is so important that all of us figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, how we can do the best that we know. It's not acceptable to me to think, as people have been saying, and I've heard a lot of people say it, and maybe they've just accepted it as common knowledge. Oh, these are unprecedented times. This has never happened. That's not exactly true. In case anyone didn't tell you, one of the first things I did whenever all this started coming down, mainly because I'm a nerd like that, but I had to go read up on this. And there's this little thing called the Spanish flu of 1918. This has happened before. And guess what? We're still here. We will get past this time. And as we reflect on the way that we acted during this time, what will you be able to say? Because like it or don't, doing the jobs that we do right now, we may be the only lifeline that is tethering these students and families to an education. So how are we going to do this? How can we as individuals do something about this? If we think of it too broadly, it feels so big and so heavy. But if we think about what we can do right now, me as one person, what can we do? It is more digestible. So the first thing I'll ask you to do is first clear your eyes, be fully present, be here, right now. And let's think about how we can do something this year and the years beyond us. So, of course, I'm going to say start with the data. Start with the data of your district, your state, your local context. Start with the data and think about your individual role and how you can use that data to inform what you can do. So if you are the migrant coordinator, absolutely, you're going to want to look at your CNA, think about your comprehensive needs assessments, and it might be an opportunity to revisit that and modify it as is necessary in a situation like this. And then think about what's going to be the services that you're going to offer and how are you going to do it? How are you being strategic about communicating what needs to be done now? Whether that's deploying new technology or making sure people have access, how are you going to do this? As a migrant coordinator, there's so many different aspects of what you can do and what you can inform. Because we know that graduation is one of the goals of what we do in this, but it's not the only goal. We have to be very, very clear about the different supports that are available for our students as they too are going on this journey. So how would anyone know what the supports are? How are you communicating that? Has it shifted now that your environment has changed, that the problem has changed, that the things we used to take for granted have changed? Because what we know is true is that normal that they keep talking about that we're going to return to, it is no more. We will not return to that normal. Education and education delivery will never be the same. And in some ways, that's okay. Because imagine for 1 second that just what if, what we build now is better than what we had? Because it could happen, but it's going to take all of us. And so if you are in a role that deals with ID&R, you need to know how absolutely essential you are. Because without you, we don't even have the people to serve. We don't know who they are. And without you going out there to identify our students and our families, they are left without knowing the resources available to them. But when you make that contact and you engage with that family or that student, you are setting the tone for what they're expecting from the MEP program. So identifying the students is a piece, and not just because that's the way it generates funds, but we cannot let anybody go unaccounted for. Remember, I said there's going to be students that have gone back to face-to-face, some that will be virtual, and some that will become invisible. And of course, our out-of-school youth are in even more jeopardy, because as we think about the statistics here, we know that some of those students will not be returning. But in the MEP program, we can inform that. So as you go out and think about identification and recruitment, think about the different ways that you can do it. In some ways, I feel that the MEP program is actually better suited right now, because people are like, oh, where are we going to find them? Oh my goodness, where should it? And I'm like, everybody calm down. We got this. We know how to enroll people on our iPads. We know how to go where they are. Instead of making people come to you at your space, go to them, because they too are suffering and they need you to be there. So when the ID&R specialist goes out, they also open up and set a tone for a different piece, and a very beautiful piece of the MEP program, which is the family engagement piece. And when I'm thinking of family engagement, just talking about that one time when you got them to sign the COE, or you hope that they came to the PAC meeting. We're talking about true engagement. Some of our families continue to live in fear, but we have technology. We're using it right now. And many of our families have cell phones. There are different apps available on the cell phone that we can contact them. But when I'm talking about being engaged, when you set up a meeting with a parent or even a student, how many of the family members can be on that Zoom with you, or just crowd into the screen so that you can see them? Because what I also know after weeks of being in my house, actually, Jonathan, I don't know that you knew this or not, but I did contract COVID-19. And so I was in my home for a long time. And so one thing that I know I was very appreciative is seeing people, and seeing people that were looking out for me. So when you go and you're looking for someone specific and you're saying, hey, I'm just checking on you. Wow. It sends a message that you care. You might not be able to do anything or fix it for them, but you care. And so family engagement is such a critical piece, and one that I'm going to be talking about even at the end of the speech. When we are thinking of family engagement, these conversations around school readiness now has taken on some new meaning. So we're not even just talking about, when we think of early literacy and thinking of exposure to literacy and numeracy, but there's so much more to it, because now we have to add the technological piece. I had to go and visit with a family, this particular family. The child had gotten on the Zoom classroom and did all of that, but she was crying. She was crying because she didn't know how to navigate the computer itself. And those tears translate through the screen. They're real. And so the other thing that these cameras now do is they're actually giving you an eye in their homes. And if you look around and you see their homes, some of their places and spaces to learn are not optimal. So what are conversations or pieces of a conversation that you can have and inform that could help them have even just a little space to do their learning? So one of the things we have been considering even now in our particular school district is actually emptying some old warehouses that had old student desks so that some of our families could pick up a student desk so they can take it home with them and the child has a place for themselves. So even though we can give the child technology and we can give them a computer, a Chromebook, an iPad, or whatever, making sure that they have internet access is another critical piece. But even that's not enough. We have to make sure they have electricity and the utilities necessary in the home to be able to do this. So collaborating with your community is another very important piece. Again, the MEP program is so well set up for that because we want to make referrals and think about their overall health. When we think about early childhood, making sure that we're giving them access to, like I said, the literacy and the numeracy, but making sure that they have all of the tools that they need to be able to learn and that they have access to other books in their home. If ever there was a time to give children books, this is a time now. Because even when the teacher might say, go and read whatever, if there are no books in the home, what are they supposed to be reading? When we think about our K through 12 students specifically, whether they're on grade level or not, we need to also think about how they are interacting with their instruction. Are we including the very important piece of relationship building? And equally important, and those of you that have ever read my book, you would know that I am very, very much about a rigorous curriculum. So now is not the time to water down anyone's curriculum or expectations. We absolutely must have robust curriculum and help our children and guide them through that. We need to retain language services if at all possible and to the degree possible. We need to make sure that, of course, they have access to all the resources and devices, but we need to be tracking the attendance. Attendance, again, as I mentioned earlier, so that our children do not become invisible. Whenever they've missed a class or two or a meeting or two or didn't make the call, something's happening. Make a connection. Engage with them, engage with their families. And in addition to that, I know this is another thing that you probably have already thought of, but I absolutely want to applaud you and encourage you in this, is support the teachers. Supporting the teachers right now is so important because this is a new era for them too. They don't know how to do this, and some are better than others. And some of our teachers with the most experience, this is so unbelievably traumatizing for them because they can't imagine how they're going to do it online and in the class and prepare for two and do this and that. And it just feels like the rug has been pulled out from underneath them. So if there's any way that you can support the teachers and communicate with them about things that they need and thinking about resources they might need, please consider doing that as part of what you're doing. The experiences that you have had in working with migrant populations actually gives you so much experience in dealing with children who have experienced trauma. Thinking about the trainings that you've had and the social and emotional learning of our children is something that you're probably already keen on. So I want you to be encouraged to do that and also to seek out resources that will help you with your own learning. And of course, I can't fail to mention our out-of-school youth. One of the things that I have already seen and in discussions with others around the country, I sat on an international board last week talking about this, but students that have, in our case, out-of-school youth, have possibly disengaged are actually provided an opportunity to re-engage right now because so many more opportunities are accessible online. Whereas in the past, maybe they weren't available that way. But thinking about the needs of our out-of-school youth, if there is a way for you to connect them to some type of learning or certification online or in person, that's one piece. But another piece that they would obviously need your help on is how to navigate the new systems and thinking about your social agency, how you can help them build their own agency so that they can access different things. And your referrals are so important right now. When we're thinking about the health aspect of it, you know, it's more than just, oh, he looked okay. Are they able to access vaccines, dental care, all of the things that we may not be prioritizing right now because everybody feels like they're in survival mode? These are still things that are going to be important. And for the high schoolers, we want to make sure they're filling out the FAFSA. I read a statistic that was really just discouraging because so many people just opted not to fill out the FAFSA because we didn't go to school the last semester. So a lot of those kids that would have normally filled that out did not fill it out. Also, entering all of this information into M6 so our kids don't become invisible wherever they're moving, wherever they're going. We're hoping to recapture them. And creating some kind of bridge to HEP and CAMP programs is another way to make sure that we're giving them access to the full spectrum of services that are available through the MEP program. So as you go today, I know that's a lot of information that I've shared with you. As you go today and thinking about all the ways that you can serve others and you can serve the students and you can serve the families and you can help our MEP program, one of the things that I also want to challenge you to do is I want you to use today to strengthen the foundation of your team. Because I don't know if you know all the people on this screen. Let me scroll through here. I see some familiar faces. Hey, Jonathan Frost. I can't see your face. But I'm scrolling through there and I don't know all of you. But if there was a way for you to take today to try and build or rebuild relationships or even redefine your relationships with each other, it is so important because you are the foundation of all the programming that's going to go forward this year. It's you. And so today is a day to be able to do that. And I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're present. But I'm also going to be all up in your business right quick for just a minute because I want you to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Have you recognized how heavy this has been on you too? Do you realize that maybe you get more snippety with people, you get more annoyed, tired, put out, worried, stressed? All those things are taking a toll on you too. So do take time to take care of you, and whatever that looks like, whether that's meditating, exercising, reading, writing, sleeping, drinking water, that's what I meant. I don't know where y'all went with that. I was talking about water. All the things that you need to do to take care of you, because you are a critical piece of this team. You're a critical piece of the larger team in this country. You're a critical piece in your family, in your community. Do whatever it is that's going to make sure that you're fully present when you get to work and serve our families. Whatever it is that makes you happy, of course, you need to do that. They need you. We need each other. I need you. I need you, and I thank you. I thank you for taking care of the families that feed our country, because these families, they're still out there working. They're still doing this. They are the essential ones, and they are essential because we all eat, and we can't forget that. And so when we're out there, we're going to get tired. It gets heavy. It gets hard. And we're going to want to cry. We're going to want to cry a lot. And Mercedes is like, I don't ever cry, so I don't know what she's talking about. Well, I cry because when I see all of the different people dealing with this in a very different way, I don't say to myself, oh, that can't be true. That's not how they really feel. I don't know how people feel. The way that they feel is truly how they feel. And there is value in it because it means something to them. And even though all of us are experiencing this together, we're experiencing it differently. And so when you do get tired, I'm going to say to you that I hope you can count on each other and know that you can count on me, because I want you to find the strength to get back up. Get back up and let's do it again. And when you get really tired, I hope you have the strength and the faith to know that this too shall pass. And we're going to continue doing this. I am so thankful that Jonathan asked me to be with you today, because it does my heart good to see the people that still have the faith and the hope to know that these young kids, they've been through a lot. And I said to a friend of mine the other day, they were like, oh, I can't believe all this has happened, da, 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 da. I said, well, you know what? There will be good things that come out of this. And they're like, how? How could there be such good out of this? Why do you even believe that? Well, I have to know that there's these horrible things happening, but there are people that are taking record of it. Because somewhere there's a kid sitting in a cage that's going to write a book about this someday. And I hope that all of these kids that are experiencing this now can speak about you and me and us together as being part of the solution, not part of the problem. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me today.
Let's give Dr. Lisa Ramirez an applause. The old fashion way, visually. Dr. Ramirez, you're an inspiration with your life and with your words today. You hit so many topics that I thought right on. And thank you for your encouragement. For those of you who have not read her book called Dulcified, como dulce and afied, go ahead and get it on Amazon. It's a very inspirational book, and I think it'd be an inspiration to your students. And so thank you for all the passion and success that you've had working with migrant families, El Corazon, to make a difference in the lives of kids. And she's still doing that in Texas. But the migrant program today has come a long ways thanks to her leadership at the Office of Migrant Education in DC. And so for that, I'm eternally grateful. And so I know we're running late, and I would want more, but we're going to transition to Maria Castro from the Oregon Health Authority. And Maria spoke at the MESC retreat at the beginning of August, and when she was sharing all the materials and all the supports that the Office of the Oregon Health Authority was providing, I thought, híjole, these are great resources that everybody should be hearing about. And so she was willing to come, and we found out that she's from Chile and a mate drinker, so that's good. Maria, if you could, some of our colleagues, like Charlie Bauer in Southern Oregon, his office burned down. the Southern Oregon ESD burnt down with all their stuff. And he was telling me that he was going to be in and out today, transitioning 600 migrant families from the area that have lost their homes. And so any resources you can think of, in particular with that, we would love to hear about. And so without further ado, let's give a welcome to Maria Castro.
Thank you. It's a really tough act to follow because Dr. Ramirez, your words were very powerful. I work in health and health policy and healthcare. And believe it or not, I don't teach students, but I do have to work with their families, and we do have to ensure that the systems are in place to make them healthy. And you're right, many of them are invisible, and you're also right. There are some things good that are going to come up from this pandemic, from the fires. And I think I will venture to say that one of them would be that people are now thinking of migrant and seasonal farm workers in a way that they weren't thinking before. And they are paying attention to their needs in a way that they weren't paying attention before. And I can only hope that that is something that continues, and that we use these opportunities to ensure that they are no longer invisible, not only for our policy people, our legislative bodies, but also the communities where they are. Because unfortunately, and I am ashamed to say this, in many cases when we have had COVID outbreaks, our local county health departments did not know that we had migrant workers, did not know that we had migrant workers that spoke indigenous languages. It was something new. And only because of the pandemic, they realized that they had entire communities that they had never served, they had never touched, and they had never met their needs. So there is a silver lining on everything. And I do have a PowerPoint. I'm not sure, can I share it? Or is somebody share it? And I'm only saying because there's so many resources that I want to make sure I show them.
Luis, can you give her control? We will share this PowerPoint, Maria, with your permission, and send it to everybody, even people that didn't get in. Because I think you're right. If we were taking the important notes, we would be writing the whole time and not be able to listen. And so if you share that'd be fantastic.
So, do I have the power?
Just give me a second. I'm gonna make you a host.
As we're waiting, some of our Guatemalan communities that speak Hmong, Guarajal, Quiche, there's now resources translated in their languages. What a great, and at the beginning of COVID, we're going, what about these populations? And so I think for those of you that know that you have indigenous languages, and not only from Guatemala, but from Mexico as well. I think there's 102 indigenous languages from Mexico. And a lot of them are in our communities. And so that's what makes me really excited when they can get something in their native language,
So Jonathan, when Dr. Ramirez was talking about how much pride all of you need to take of your work, I have to say that, the reason why we know this, it's because we turn around and ask you, Jonathan, and your team in education, do you have information and data about your students? And can you provide us information around their languages? And it was only because of that we were able to realize that there are all these dialects and languages spoken that require us to prepare for them, because it's our mission to serve all Oregonians, not only the ones that can speak English. So I had to say that without migrant education and without the Oregon Department of Education support, much of the work that we have done, it would have taken us longer to convince people, but we had the data because you gave it to us. So it was very hard for people to say there is no need. No, I'm telling you, take a look at this Excel file. There is a need right here. So yes, I mean, all the people that go and do those intake forms, I am telling you, thank you, because this information that you have provided has informed the response for COVID-19 from the state of Oregon. Good or bad, we have actually had successes, and you have been part of that. Without you, we wouldn't be able to make it happen.
Okay, you're good to go?
Huh?
You're good to go?
I am good to go. I'm good to go, and I am not good to go because I can't find the PowerPoint.
You are the host now.
Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me see. So all windows. Of course, when you're dealing with technology, all the things that are gonna go wrong will go wrong. There you go. Here we are. Almost there, guys. Almost there. Slideshow from the beginning. All right. So again, my name is Maria Elena Castro. I am a health equity program analyst for the Equity and Inclusion Division at OHA, but I am also part of the equity and community engagement team of a new unit that was developed between OHA and DHS that has been created only to serve, our state because of the COVID-19 response that is called the COVID-19 Response and Recovery Unit. And I am tasked there with issues related to migrant and seasonal farm workers. So as you know, our communities around the state and the Latinx communities, our indigenous communities have been the most impacted. I don't need to tell you that because you already know. We have had, our communities have faced, have actually been hit with the brunt of all the economic challenges. People are out of work. Some of our community members are undocumented, therefore they can access services. And some others don't speak the language and they don't know if they're eligible for things. Employers haven't made it easy either because they're also, sort of like licking their own wounds and they're having their own losses. But we have been facing the brunt of everything that the COVID-19 has impacted, from education to healthcare, from healthcare to economic losses, financial losses, etc. Yet, our communities have continued to show up to work, not only, in the fields, doing agricultural work, but, all the people that work in, supermarkets, our CNAs in long-term care facilities. Anyway, yourselves, so many that did not have the opportunity to stay home and work from home are people that belong to our communities. So if the needs are there, and while we are prepared and working on COVID, we turn around and we were faced with the challenges of wildfires. I want to let you know that we are at this moment working with OHA and OSHA to develop a guidance document that we will share. I think Governor Brown will share in all the state agencies and our community partners to ensure that our agricultural workers are taken care of. The air outside in every single corner of our state is not safe. Yet many of our agricultural workers are asked to work. They're still working out there. I have given you some resources here. In my case, there's so many things that they need to be doing. One of them is ensuring that this information is available in all languages. We're working on that. But in the meantime, for all of you that lead teams, I want to make sure you have this information. As soon as the guidance document is available, I will make sure I share it with Jonathan so he can share it with you. So you can share it with either in your communities, your professional networks. So we exercise the pressure to ensure that our agricultural workers are taken care of. The same thing, if there is a need for masks, please let us know. We have community partners around the state that do have a KN95 masks. They're not great, that might be useful, especially in those areas where we have so much ash on the air. And again, at the end of this presentation, you will find my contact information. If there is anything that we can do around the wildfires that you would like us to either consider, you would like us to look for resources, or you would like us to make, you would like us to be aware of, which is something else, please let me know. When the Oregon Health Authority started, and already when the Oregon Health Authority started their response for COVID-19, I just said that I turned around and I asked Jonathan, do you have any data? Because one of the biggest issues that we have had in migrant health all along has been we don't have data. We don't have data. We don't have any good data. So we are very dependent on data from other state agencies. One of the state agencies that we look for data is the Oregon Department of Agriculture. But the Oregon Department of Agriculture has data about crops, about how many assets do they need deployed in order to, make sure that harvest takes place. But the Oregon Department of Education and Migrant Education and Oregon Child Development Coalition have data about families, about people, about children. So that's the reason why we were able to push our systems and resources to ensure that all our documents are translated into languages other than English. So I am proud to say that in the Oregon Health Authority COVID-19 webpage, there is a tab that is for agricultural workers and employers. And for the safety of the workers, we were able to translate much information in languages such as English, Spanish, Acateco, Quiche, Canjoval, Mam, and others. So I put a screenshot of our webpage there. This is for agricultural workers and employers. I'm going to give you more resources as I present them. But if you have any concerns about agricultural workers and COVID-19, this is a great place to go. Some of the resources that we have audio, so you can actually share audio if the paper format does not work for you. If you need things in indigenous languages or in Spanish that you think we should have and we don't, please let us know. Because of all the data you provided and because of all the advocacy that many of you gave us, we were able to put together, Governor Brown allocated $30 million for a program dedicated to farm worker safety program for COVID-19. This program is aimed to support agricultural employers or workers so they can be compliant with the emergency OSHA rules that went into effect in April. So we had the $30 million and we had $10 million allocated for housing. As you know, because of the new OSHA rules, housing for agricultural workers that were provided by the employers was cut in half because they couldn't use bunk beds anymore. They couldn't do the housing in the way they used to do it. So $10 million have been allocated so employers can provide with housing that considers physical distancing and consider sanitation. We also allocated of those $30 million, $6 million for field sanitation. Because of the OSHA rules, field sanitation rules changed. So we were able to ensure that agricultural employers can provide adequate sanitation to the workers on the field. And then we allocated $14 million for mitigation. And the $14 million for mitigation has a big chunk of money. $10 million for mitigation were dedicated for the quarantine fund. This is a fund that is exclusively for agricultural work working in the state of Oregon, and allows workers to apply for funding regardless of their immigration status, regardless of anything, so they can't stay home if they need to quarantine for COVID. I'm going to talk about it in a bit. We do have these $30 million, have different state partners: the Oregon Department of Agriculture, the Watershed Board, Oregon OSHA. So we do have a web page And I also provided a link here. You can inform yourself about the program. You can also point it out for agricultural employers if they need assistance. There's also a link for some of the resources for workers that you can find. I invite you to browse that resource. It's really, really, really good with information about resources that are available for agricultural workers and their families. Here's the $10 million, $10 million for cooking. We also get $3 million well, the way we do things in is that we have people, we go talk to them. And we, I mean, not say on us as the government, but community-based organizations. this is useful. I did send it to Jonathan last night, so he has it. I am going to put my contact information on the chat box for those of you that would need it. Again, this pandemic is not over. It's not going to end in December. It's not going to end in July. We're going to have another harvest season with COVID-19. We need to get prepared for the next year. We think this is going to be our new normal for at least 18 to 24 months more. I did send it to Jonathan last night, so he has it. I am going to put my contact information on the chat box for those of you that would need it.
What the needs are on the ground.
I live in Hood River, and I am surrounded by agricultural workers, but I do not know what is going on. Without you, we will never know. So please do not, there might be particular things that I can't really work on, but I might know someone that will be able to work on. And again, this is just a piece of the work that we need to get done. There's so much work that must be done. We just trust that this is a good start. But again, please let us know, and we're happy to try to serve your needs as much as possible.
Just to follow up, I just want to thank you, Maria Castro, for all your wonderful resources that you provide. I'm just going to also tell everybody that this resource is going to be put in the weekly communications on Monday, so you can access it there. So it's going to be a link there. So any resource that actually is given today is going to be added to our Monday notes for everybody on Monday. All right, so just be looking for that. You just click on the link, you should have access to those. All right. I guess if anybody has questions for Maria Castro, please go ahead and ask some questions. We have some time still, so go for it. The floor is open for everybody.
We're going to expand the lunch hour till 12:30. So we'll start up at 12:30. Everybody look at your agenda. So if you're a parent engagement specialist, you would click the parent engagement link and go to that meeting. If you're a recruiter, you go to the recruiter and data link. If you're a coordinator, you'd go to the coordinator link and meet with Susie. If you're parent engagement or school readiness, you'd click on those links at what time? At 12:30. 12:15. At 12:30, you click on that link, and then everybody, and I sent out a message to all the coordinators, if you could pass that on to your staff, because unfortunately some people are not hearing this. And so coordinators, make sure that everybody knows that, yes, everybody will have a room in the inn at 12:30. And it's super important to have everybody there to get their feedback. And that's the time we come together as a family, specifically with alike jobs. But Maria, if you're willing to take 3 questions, we will. Are you willing?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. We'll just open it up and maybe just unmute yourself and do it. I can't see all 5 screens. Todo eso y nadie tiene una pregunta, vamos.
Let's go with Rosa Bautista. Rosa, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Yes, Maria, gracias por todo. Thank you for the information. It was wonderful to have that. But I have a question. I know there's some testing locations that have in Salem and Hillsborough and Woodburn for the families. I'm thinking, I know Virginia Garcia here in Newburgh does some testing, but it's a charge for that testing. Is it possible that they're going to have like those testing sites in the small towns for people that cannot get to those cities to get that testing?
Yes, actually, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about testing with you, because those are the type of things that we need to know. When the state works with community-based organizations like Virginia Garcia, and we say, we want to put together a testing drive, like for instance, a drive-through or a testing event, we provide the tests, and the tests we provide are free. So that means that people will not be charged, their insurance will not be charged. That being said, nobody should be charging for tests. So I just want to make sure that you knew that, tests, especially provided by FQHCs and others, should be either, if you have insurance, they will send it to your insurance. But if you don't have insurance, if you don't have the means to pay for it, they should not be charging. So we would like to know when those situations arise, because we can either contact the organization, see why is it that they see a need to charge, and work with them. Or, as you said, we can actually put together some testing events in small locations with our tests that are self-administered, by the way. And so that means that you have to do your own swabbing, and those are for free. So if you let me know, where do you think testing can happen? And we have to cancel a couple because of the fires, but if you think that we need to go somewhere, and you can help us, get people together so they can actually attend those events, we're happy to go anywhere you want us to.
Thank you, Maria. We'll be planning something.
I
I'll
think
work with my partners. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think our first slide showing that 3 times the population, Hispanics are 3 times, even though they're 13%, 39% of them have COVID. And so there really is a need. And unless people feel comfortable being tested and knowing that they're sick, it just keeps on expanding. And so
I have one piece of information. It's a little technical, but I just want to make sure you have it. So the Oregon Health Authority put together testing guidelines, that we send to all hospitals, all providers, all the laboratories. And in those testing guidelines, remember when we were told that we didn't need to get tested, that we should assume that we all, have COVID, at the beginning, please do not come. We don't want to test you, Well, those things have changed. So we have the testing guidelines, and we also have priority populations, okay? So we have priority populations that can get tested even if they are asymptomatic, which is the key here. The Latinx communities, indigenous communities, tribal communities belong to those populations that can get tested even they're asymptomatic. Further, we even expanded this and said, and also, in case there is any doubt, agricultural workers, especially those who live in congregate settings, can get tested if asymptomatic. So some providers are going to tell you, no, I'm not going to test you. And that's fine. We can't make them. But the guidance from the state says that Latinx, migrant seasonal farm workers, people living in congregate settings are priority for testing.
Maria, I have a question. I'm Will Flores from the Region 2 in Clackamas County. We have at least 2 cities fire-related, in Molalla and Cicada, that have been actually farm workers that have been displaced at this point. Is there a quick number? I know you mentioned a lot of good info right now. Is there a quick number of contact that we can access so that we can provide resources to those families? It's probably about 400 families combined.
So they need resources to go shelter in place, in some place?
For fire, people have been misplaced or displaced by the fires.
Can I have your contact information? I'm going to connect with the regional emergency coordinator, because we're talking about a good chunk of people. I have information about, the programs that the Oregon Housing and Community Services is putting together, but I just want to be prompt because this is an immediate need. So if you can share your information, and I can actually share it with the regional emergency coordinators so they can get on it like right away, would be great.
Let me put it in the chat by my email.
Great. You said 400 people?
Well, it's the number of migrant workers that we have in that area. We don't know how many have been displaced because of the fire as of last night.
Okay. Yeah. If you put it there, then I'll contact you with the regional emergency coordinator right away.
And Maria,
Thank you.
So kind. I'm going to put my email there too. Will, that is such a perfect question because I'd like to send that to Charlie as well in Southern Oregon. They've been having so many over there. Thank you for asking.
If there is a massive need, if you feel that this is something that you guys need to be part of, I'm more than happy to elevate this. So you are all the coordinators, depending on the areas, included on communications and phone calls, and all these type of things. Because one of the problems that we have, and we just had a briefing right before this, is that people don't know. So if you provide us with information, then we can quickly, direct resources and ensure that their needs are taken care of.
Hola, Maria. I have a question for you. This is regarding the topic of the funds available for families that find themselves in need because of having to shelter in place due to being positive with COVID-19. When we were recruiting earlier in the summer, this idea came to me. There wasn't a strong incentive to take advantage of the free testing if it meant a destruction of their livelihood and their money for this season. And so I saw how people thought that through and probably weren't going to be interested in taking advantage of those all the time. Do you know of families that have were able to take advantage of those funds, and was it sufficient enough to sustain that family for that duration, the 2 weeks?
So there's two things. Number one, no, the amount of money is not sufficient, and we knew that. We're just trying to spread and make it last as much as we can. There was a calculation, so there is a method to the madness, for amount of money. One thing that we have had families use the quarantine fund, especially because, as you know, and if you didn't know, now you know, I would say half of the outbreaks of COVID-19 that the state has experienced have been in either a food processing, a fruit packing, or a farm, or a dairy. So when people are asked to either quarantine or because of an outbreak, because they're being diagnosed, we send community-based organizations, and by we mean the local county health departments and the state. We send community-based organizations that can quickly do an intake of those families and process, the needs. So that's how we actually get food, we get childcare, we get diapers, we get different things. And that's how families have been able to apply. Because we know that it's not enough. That's the reason why we have these other community-based organizations that can hook them up with, for instance, utilities, relief or rental relief. So those funds can be supplemented. But is it enough? No. Can families reapply? Let's say 14 days wasn't enough and they need another week. I think so. I know that there were some comments that the phone number is busy. I'm not sure exactly what's happening. I'm gonna, reach out to the partners. Pecun and Causa are the big partners there, and then I'm gonna ask them what is going on, why the phone number is busy. But to answer your question, Robert, yes, we have had families use it. No, it's not enough. Yes, we try to supplement it with other resources.
I'm happy to hear that you're using local community services and agencies to provide the wraparound care that the family needs. I think supplementing that way is brilliant.
We learned early enough that nobody wants a government employee around them. So we realized that, community-based organizations are the answer. And they were actually, I am so thankful they were ready to actually, step up. And they have been fantastic. They are doing everything from wraparound services to contact tracing to testing. I mean, in communities where there is no services, they have been a lifesaver.
Thank you so much, Maria. I'll pass on her contact information to all of you as well. I sent her presentation to all the coordinators. And so if you would be so kind to send it on to your staff, especially those that couldn't attend. And it might be good to get together as a staff and have a little powwow after this and kind of go through what are the services, clarify what services are available through the different organizations that she mentioned. Just so that everybody, it's one thing to hear things and it's another to process. And so I invite you to get together as a team and process it, and then everybody on your team will have the answers. Another aplauso for Maria. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Dr. Ramirez, too, for your presentations. And so we're going to break for lunch, and we're going to come back at what time? 12:30. And you're going to click which group you're in. So look at the agenda and the link. There's a link under each one. And so if I am a recruiter, I look under the recruiter link or the data link, and I click on that, and then I'll be able to know exactly where to go. And
I want to send a quick shout out, or are you going to send a shout out to give a message?
No, go ahead.
Quick shout out for just everybody for working as a team. Thank you, Region 6. Thank you, Region 11, Raul, Rosa, Gilbert, for helping us stream the webinar. It's going to be talk about opportunities, even innovating how we stream and connect with each other. We're going to be learning how to do all that. So thank you for the Zoom streaming, the YouTube. MVP just went YouTube. And I'll see you guys. So thank you guys for being such awesome team members.
Thank you for your flexibility.
Another update. So for the ones that are going to be doing IDNR and data, it's the first session is going to be together, and the second session is going to be only IDNR and recruiters, and the specialists are going to be having their own. The data specialists are going to have their own sessions. So there are two sessions there, and the second part of the trainings that we have.
And Sue will give the link for her session.
Yeah, the links are already there, so they're already updated. So
okay.
To the agenda, and everything is there.
Thank you for doing that, Luis. So even though we struggle with technology, and we apologize, we did our due diligence to check and make sure that everybody could come in, and they said, yeah, no problem, you have nothing to worry about. And technology sometimes is our friend and sometimes it's not. But what amazes me, like Jesus said, is your willingness and flexibility and doing the best with the circumstances that you have and going the extra mile, and then being creative and innovative to say, well, we can't get it this way. How else can we do it? And we know you do that every day with your migrant families. Mm-hmm. And so we applaud you. We applaud, and we need to learn from each other. Thanks so much, guys. And so when we come back at 12:30, we're going to go to our individual links. Bon appetit. Have a good lunch.
I checked both streaming, Jonathan.
And they both worked. I saw that.
Within yeah, so that's pretty pretty effective. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Luis, where did you update the links? Is the agenda?
The same agenda that I sent out, I shared with everybody. It should be out there.
No, but I got it in an email. So how did you update it? Is it posted on the web somewhere, or did you send the agenda out?
It was posted on Monday Notes, but we'll send it out to everybody again.
Okay, I think that's good.
And Susie, just since you're coming,
Jonathan send the email to you, Susie, because it seems like for some reason my emails don't get through your email. So
and Susie's emails don't get to me for some reason. So let's see.
That was a couple of emails. All the other ones have. So I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry.
This will be the lucky one. And Luis, just send the regular agenda.
Susie, wait, I'm going to put this in the chat so you can actually have the agenda there. So
thank you. I needed the same thing. Thank you.
All right, let me just put it in the
Everybody go to the chat.
You know what, Jonathan? Maybe you want to send the agenda again since it has
I'm going to go into the chat, and then I'm also going to send it to all the coordinators as well.
Yeah, that way if somebody calls them or contacts them, they have it. Jesus, ¿qué pasa? ¿Te querías preguntar algo?
Just as you get to learn the structure Luis, our tech guy right here, is awesome. He's got if you go to our wsd.org/OMESC,
Also, yes.
our calendar's right there, and this guy's got the agenda linked, everything in there. So if you save that on your favorites, you'll always have all the stuff.
That sounds great. That sounds awesome. Yeah, and thank you though for sending it now, because just so that people can get in.
All right, it's on the chat.
Gracias. Thank you.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, I'm in the Migrant Education Program Administrative Assistant. Do you know which session should I join?
Actually, I don't think there is one for office staff. But here's what I would suggest. I would suggest that you join either graduation or school readiness or family engagement or IDNR and
Okay.
data. And so I would say whichever one of those. The other choice might be the migrant coordinators for you to get a good picture of what's happening at the as you help Maria and Brian. What is it that's coming down that you can help them with? And so I'll leave that to you. We don't have a specific that doesn't do a office management group, although that's a really good idea. Why wouldn't you get together and share best ideas? But since
I would recommend family engagement. A lot of administrative assistants that work on our local programs are like keep contacts for parents and organizing events. So maybe family engagement would be cool.
Family engagement or migrant coordinators would be good for you. As Maria says, what was this group or where did this information come? You have the same information.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You guys want to hear a cold hack since nobody wants to get off? My wife just walked in because yesterday I built my office in the garage, but the smoke over here is so bad. So my wife just walked in with a box fan, right? And she bought an air filter, the kind used for venting. She strapped it, and now I got my own air purifier here, trying to clean out our house.
That's a great idea. That's a fabulous idea.
I don't know.
You know what, Jesus and team, the air quality index in Salem right now is 501.
Oof, that is bad.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's bad.
Jesus, ¿a dónde estás tú? ¿En Eugene?
Estoy in Eugene, yeah. So I'm right between Eugene and Springfield, right on the cusp. And we're about 8 miles from here directly. But I
love it.
Can you see this?
Luis, I don't see the link. Did you put it in the chat?
Yes, in the chat.
But we are fortunate. Our neighborhood is fortunate because we have the Willamette right between us and that holiday farm. So if no winds pick up, we should be good.
Wow. Louise, I don't see the link either. I think are you sending it to just one person, or I'm not seeing it?
I did put it in the chat. Let me try it again.
Yeah. But none of us are seeing it.
The third time is a charm. That's what they always say.
Yes, that's
yes. Yeah, but all of them will be able to join a room. Yeah.
Can you guys see it now?
Hey, Rosa, yes. Would you mind helping us out with the YouTube stream when we do the closing at the end of the day at 3:20 with Susie? And then you're gonna have to show me.
Deserves it. So, yeah. So what happened? Like Zoom told you had a larger account and it capped it at 100. Is that what's going on, or what?
Yes, we were under the assumption it was 300, and I contacted them. It took forever. It took forever to get in. Zoom is the new norm, so they just had me on a waiting, and then they finally called back. So they are working on it. They were trying to charge us $2,000 to fix the problem.
What?
So I'm like, no. So Luis, when we get done with this, they're going to try just a little bit to fix it, but it's not $2,000. It is $199. But I'll work with you on downtime.
All right. Thank you.
How we doing?
Okay. All right. So I guess we're back at 12:30 then, right?
Yep.
All right. We'll make lunch. See you guys.
Hey, Luis, when you get off, Luis, can you give me a call?
Yeah, sure.
All right, guys. See you later.
See you later. And for all. Adios, Jonathan.
Adios.
Yes.
No. They're going to turn this off, guys, and everybody's going to go to a different link.
Yeah, you just click on the agenda and the link that you need to go to the specialty that you're going to be following. So coordinators have a link, specialists and pre-K have a link, data have a link, and graduation specialists have a link. So
Rosa, and I just sent that link to you too. If you want to just send that email to your staff, that would be good for especially those that couldn't hear. Yeah, bless your heart.
Also, they can go to our website. The link is also on the website, so the agenda is posted there. They can just click on the link and they should be able to access the agenda. And from the agenda, they can click on the individual sessions and just access their session through there. So I kind of try to cover my bases, so the information is available all over. Mm-hmm.
2:30?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
all right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. See you a little bit.
Hi, Luis. This is Marta from Region 27. ¿Cómo está?
Hi, Marta. Muy bien, muy bien. ¿Cómo está usted?
Bien, gracias. En la agenda que yo recibí no viene link para los coordinators. Did you resend another one, did you say?
You can go to our website and you should be able to see there the link to the actual agenda. I know Jonathan sent like a copy agenda that he downloaded to his desktop, so that wasn't updated. So
Okay.
Also in the chat right here, I just put the link. If you want to click on the chat, there should be a link there.
Got it. Okay, I'll do the chat. Let me try it before. I'm a little nervous because ya quedamos todos ariscos because we're trying to get in. Let me click on that.
Yeah, just click on the chat. There's a link there for everybody, so you can access the agenda through the chat.
Estoy como Rosa. I'm like, I don't want to leave my space. Okay, I see it, and I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and then just click on the coordinators, and then hopefully it'll take me.
Yeah, you should see all the links now at this point.
Gracias, Luis.
De nada.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Anybody else has any questions? I'm going to end this meeting at this point, so you'll have to join your individual sessions. Just go to the agenda, and you should be able to just click on the link for your specialty, okay? Okay, I'll see you soon. I'm going to end this meeting. Thank you.